The moment she touched him, every single person in that hall stopped breathing. And the most powerful queen in the galaxy had absolutely no idea what to do next. My name is Kale Darno, systems technician. Level 2 clearance. The kind of guy nobody notices at a diplomatic summit. Which is exactly why they sent me. The Valthari Empire had requested a human representative for what they called a routine technical audit of the communication arrays on their home station. Nobody in command wanted to go. The Valthari were known for being cold, formal, and completely uninterested in human presence. So they sent me, the guy with no rank, no title, and apparently no common sense, because I said yes. The station was called Orenvel. It floated at the center of the empire like a crown jewel hanging in space. Everything was gold and glass and silence, the kind of silence that feels like a warning. I arrived with 2 other technicians, Mira and Donovan. We were briefed for 3 hours before we even stepped off the shuttle. Don't speak unless spoken to. Don't make eye contact with the royal family. Don't touch anything. Don't laugh. Don't slouch. The list went on so long that by the time we landed, I had forgotten my own name. The Valthari looked almost human, but not quite. Taller, sharper. Their eyes caught light differently, like there was something metallic behind them. They moved with this quiet confidence that made you feel like you were always standing wrong, always breathing too loud. We were escorted through corridor after corridor until we reached the grand atrium, the main hall where the queen held her open court. It was massive, pillars that touched the ceiling 3 stories up, nobles in silver uniforms standing in perfect rows, commanders with medals that probably represented wars I'd never heard of, and at the front, on a raised platform, sat Queen Varith. She was terrifying in the most elegant way possible. Her posture was so straight it looked like it would hurt. Her gaze moved across the room like a scan, calculating, measuring, deciding things about people without saying a single word. We were placed at the far side of the hall, near the back, out of the way. That was fine with me. I had a data pad in my hand and a job to do. I was already looking at the communication logs when I felt it. A shift in the air, a murmur that traveled through the crowd like a slow wave. I looked up. There was a girl running across the hall. Not walking, running, full speed, dress flowing behind her, ignoring every single protocol that made this place feel like a held breath. She was maybe 17, 18. Long braided hair, a ceremonial robe that was clearly not designed for sprinting. Every noble in that room turned. The commanders exchanged glances. The queen rose slightly from her seat, not standing, just rising, like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. The girl ran straight to me. She stopped right in front of me, close, closer than anyone in this hall had come to any of us. And then she did something that made the entire empire go completely still. She hugged me, both arms around my back, her face buried in my shoulder. Not a polite greeting hug, a real one. The kind you give someone when you haven't seen them in a long time and you weren't sure you ever would again. I didn't move. I genuinely could not move. My brain had fully stopped working. Mira, to my left, made a sound like she'd swallowed something wrong. Donovan stared straight ahead like he was trying to disappear into the wall. The silence in that hall was so total that I could hear the hum of the stations, engines underneath everything. And then, very quietly, the queen said one word. Sireva. The girl, Sireva, didn't let go immediately. She held on for another few seconds. Then she stepped back and looked at me with these wide silver eyes. She said something in Valthari that my translator took a moment to catch. It came through as, "You came back." I had never been to Orenvel before in my life. One of the queen's advisors was suddenly at my side, speaking rapidly, apologizing in clipped formal tones. He explained that Princess Sireva had, some years ago, been part of a cultural exchange program and one of the few Valthari royals ever to spend time on a human station. She had been young. A difficult period, politically. She had returned home changed in ways the court never fully understood. And apparently, at some point during that exchange, she had met a human technician who had been kind to her when no one else had bothered. Not me, obviously not me. I was just the one who happened to be standing there. But I was wearing the same department uniform. Same patch on the shoulder, same shade of blue. She thought I was him. The queen descended from the platform slowly. The crowd parted. She walked toward me in that same measured, deliberate way she probably walked everywhere, like time itself adjusted to her pace. She stopped in front of me, looked at me for a long moment. Then she looked at her daughter. Sireva straightened up and spoke quietly. The advisor translated in real time, his voice barely above a whisper. He was the first one who treated me like a person and not a title. Something moved across the queen's face. Not softness exactly, more like recognition. The kind that happens when something you push down suddenly surfaces. She turned back to me. "You are not the one she remembers," she said, in perfect, unaccented human standard. She hadn't needed the translator at all. No, I said. I'm not. She studied me for another moment. Then she did something that made the nobles shuffle and the commanders go rigid. She inclined her head. Not a bow. Not quite. But a gesture that, according to everything I read in the briefing, was reserved for equals. To me, Cale Darno, Level 2 clearance. The guy they sent because no one else wanted to go. The summit lasted 4 more days after that. Something had shifted. Not dramatically, not in a way you could put in a report. But the Velthari staff brought us better food. The communication arrays got full access. No restrictions, no delays. When Mira made a mistake during calibration and accidentally triggered an alarm, the response team that showed up was calm, almost apologetic. On the last morning, before we boarded the shuttle home, Princess Sarava found me in the corridor. She had a small object in her hand. A flat disc. Dark metal engraved with something I couldn't read. She held it out. I asked the translator what the engraving said. Seen. Just that one word. I took it. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't say anything. She nodded once and walked away. I held that disc the entire shuttle ride back. Mira kept asking what it meant. Donovan kept saying it was probably nothing. But I knew, in the way you sometimes just know things, that the person who had been kind to that girl years ago, whoever he was, whatever he did, he had no idea. He probably just offered her something, to eat or asked her name, without making it a big deal. Something small, something any decent person would do. And it had traveled through time and space and landed right here. Because kindness doesn't stay where you put it. It moves, it echoes, it crosses empires. And sometimes it comes back to you in a hallway you were never supposed to be standing in, through a girl who was running toward someone else. On a station where no one expected anything at all to happen, the Empire went silent the moment she touched him. But what came after the silence, that's the part no one talks about. The next story on your screen right now, don't skip it.